Welcome to Stillwater Edge, the ultimate podcast for stillwater fly fishing enthusiasts. I'm your host, Greg Keenan, and in each short, action-packed episode, I'll share expert tips, essential techniques, and clever tricks to help you elevate your stillwater fly fishing game to the next level. Welcome to the Stillwater Edge podcast. I am your host, Greg Keenan, and today we're diving into an essential topic, choosing the right fly reel for stillwater fishing. So whether you're chasing trout in crystal clear lakes or going after heavyweights like pike and muskie and carp, the right reel can make or break your day on the water. Let's get started. So why does choosing the right reel matter? Well, a good fly reel in still waters is more than just a place to store your line, okay? It plays a critical role in fighting the fish, managing line, and maintaining balance with your rod. Choosing the wrong reel can actually lead to lost fish, believe it or not. Line tangles, or even fatigue during those long days on the water. So I'm going to break down so you know what to look for. So when you go to get your next reel, based on this episode, you're going to have a lot more information, a lot more tools to make that decision effectively and properly. So stick with us and let's get to it. Number one is sizing your reel. Without a doubt, the first thing you need to know is what size of a reel you're going to buy. So reel size. The size of the reel should match both your fly rod's weight and the species you're targeting. So here's a quick guide, okay? So if you're going to go after trout, for instance, which most people do in still waters, you typically would pair a 4 to 6 weight rod with a reel designed for the same line weight, okay? So these reels are lightweight, they're designed for finesse fishing, and they're where the drag system still matters, but it doesn't need to handle extreme stress, okay? That's a trout reel. For big fish like pike, muskie, and carp, when you're targeting larger species, you'll definitely need to go up in reel size. So I suggest an 8 to 10 weight reel with a large arbor to hold heavier line and lots of backing. Bigger reels are necessary for their line capacity and their strong drag systems. That is a key with these bigger fish, the strong drag systems, because they can handle those long runs and those really powerful fights. So you need to match your reel to the weight of your rod and ensure that the line and the capacity and the backing will handle the size of the fish you're targeting. I hope that breaks that down for you. Number two is the drag systems. The drag system is the heart of your reel. It actually slows and tires the fish down during a fight. So here's two different types of drag systems in a way that it can, again, influence your decision in what reel you want to go with. So the click and pawl drag, which is a lightweight and simple, but it's not ideal for larger fish. It's best for trout fishing or when finesse fishing is key. It's sort of a past or has a nostalgia, the click and pawl. Me personally, I'm not a fan. I don't even like the sound. As many people say they do like it. It is quite loud. And I owned a click and pawl, and I ended up selling that as well. So the disc drag system, which I do support, is a modern drag system that provides smooth, adjustable resistance and is perfect for stillwater fishing. Look for sealed drag systems to prevent water, sand, and debris from affecting the performance. So if you can find a reel that has a sealed drag, I mean, most of them do now, that's a huge influencing factor. Plus, if it's fully sealed, you can maybe use that reel if it's a 6 weight in the salt, if you needed to. When targeting large fish like pike or muskie on a powerful drag system, it is essential. And I've talked about that a lot before, is making sure that your drag system is key when you're hitting those big fish. When you get a muskie or a pike, or if you're going after carp, I mean, they're pulling line. It's a way different fight than a trout. So having that drag system and having that necessary drag system in place to slow that fish, tire that fish, and give you as the angler way more control of what's going on in that situation so you're able to land that fish effectively, it applies a constant pressure to prevent those runs and from spooling your line. So number 4, in choosing a reel, the reel porting in the finish. The porting refers to the holes or the cutouts in a reel's frame to reduce the weight without sacrificing strength, which is critical for long days on still water. A lighter reel makes your setup more comfortable and balanced. So I like the lighter reel setup. A lot of guys will actually go with the other way, right? So the finish on your reel is another important factor to look for, especially if you're fishing in hard conditions. Anodized finishes provide an excellent corrosive resistant and durable, ensuring that your reel will hold up over time. For freshwater stillwater fishing, this is a bonus, but it's not critical because we're not in the salt. That's more for the anodized, but they are anodizing most reels, and the finish on most reels have that going on, as well as, again, with the lighter porting. I love that setup. I love the lighter porting. I love a good seal drag. I love a light reel that's going to work really well. Another segment that I want to point out when choosing a reel that's kind of key is the weight in the line pickup. This is another important thing, especially when we get into the bigger reels. So balance is key when pairing a reel to your rod. A reel that's too heavy or too light can throw off your casting and you can tire out quickly. So when shopping for a reel, attach it to your rod. Bring your rod in, go outside, try casting a bit. See how it feels in your hand. This fly shop will let you do that. Another feature to consider is the line pickup. Here you are. So for a large arbor, that's another thing that I love. A large arbor, it retrieves line much faster. And most reels are coming out with a large arbor, which is critical when reeling in the slack. And in Stillwater, there's a lot of slack. Why? Because we're pulling our lines in on that strip. And that's where that slack is. And that slack that needs, when you get a fish on and you got the fish on the rod, you need to reel up that slack instantly and get that fish on the reel. So a large arbor is going to make sure that you can do that much faster, because if you have a lot of fly line in the bottom of your boat, around your fins, if you're in a float tube, wherever you are, on the land, on shore, and that fish takes a run, all that fly line, all it takes is to get caught on a pair of nippers or your foot, the gunnel of the boat, your fin, a rock on the shore, and bang, it can snap when the fish is taking that run and you've lost that fish. And that's the make or break situation. So you want to pick up that line quite fast. And fly line has its own mind and gets tangled on everything. You'll hear me say that throughout the entire episodes of all these. So keep that in mind. So keeping your fly line in better shape as well by picking up that memory. Another feature to consider is spare spools. Having an extra spool allows you to switch between the fly lines, such as floating line and sinking line, which is a great option for beginners. I know Lamson, they make a 3-reel cassette, and that reel cassette is fantastic for beginner stillwaters. Yes, it takes time to switch out the reels when you're stillwater fishing, but it also is going to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on buying multiple reels until you really get into it. Another key feature with the reel, which I really want to point out, is the warranty. A good reel is an investment. So my reels, they start at $600 US and they can go up from there. So I want to work with brands that have a real good warranty in case my reel gets damaged. I can send it back to them in full confidence, knowing that they're going to send it back to me a brand new reel or fixed. So that's key as well. And lastly, aesthetics. Aesthetics totally matter. Let's be honest, right? It doesn't hurt if your reel looks good. Whether you have I know Ross reels and Able reels, they do some really cool designs on their stuff. Me personally, I have some great colors for my Lamson Speedsters. I always buy their one-off colors that they kind of do, or their promotional colors, because I love it. It looks great in pictures. It looks great. So aesthetics is key as well. You got to like it. But more importantly, performance will always come first. Let's keep that in mind. Performance will always come first. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode of the Stillwater Edge podcast. Just to recap, when choosing a fly reel for stillwater fly fishing, consider the size, the drag, the porting, the finish, the weight, the line pickup, the speed. The right reel can make all the difference whether you're chasing feisty trout or battling monster pike. If you found today's tips helpful, be sure to follow the podcast, share it with your fishing buddies. As always, tight lines and happy fishing.